Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some massive news and leaks to go over for next year's Pokemon game. It's looking very likely we're going to be going back to UNOVA, potentially could be remakes, potentially could be Black and White 3. There's a lot of information to go over today and it's all pretty legitimate stuff as well. So if you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes, it really helps out. Leave a comment, how would you feel about going back to UNOVA next year in 2024? Subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, you've probably seen this Twitter thread in some way, shape or form from Riddler. He's been posting on it since the 4th of October and he's just been adding to it constantly because basically on the Chinese message boards there has been another leaker that has posted information about next year's Pokemon game. And Riddler has basically validated the source, you know, he's saying that it is legit and stuff. Now, I don't think they necessarily get on. I don't know why, but it does look like a very legitimate source. And, you know, we've got Riddler here saying that this is real. This is actually going to be happening. I'm not sure if Riddler has really leaked any of this stuff before. He potentially could have in previous tweets, but this is just like a ton of new information to go over today. So obviously a lot of it is in, well, it's all in Chinese, but we do have a lot of the kind of translations and everything that's kind of like going on with this whole situation. So, you know, sit back, relax. It's gonna be quite a long video today because there's a lot to get through. But anyway, this was the first post here where Riddler put breaking, the Chinese uncle has leaked. And then he went on to say, well, Puppy still hasn't reposted this real leak. So in regards to Puppy, he's talking about Centro. They don't get on. It's a whole bit, whatever. She shows no respect to our big hen king, and it also proves that she doesn't have the ability of telling the truth. I think they're just kind of slating Centro there. I'm not really too sure what's going on. And then they go on to say exclusive, more hints from this new Chinese uncle. So like more information about the next game. Don't worry, we're going to go over everything about what they're talking about in these tweets. This is just kind of what Riddler Q's saying. Basically him just validating this information. And then some more here. And then they also go on to say our team found her leaking record and history. And then there's like a clown emoji and, you know, a vomit emoji and then whatever this is, face with the hand over the mouth. And then they go on and say, back in 2019, she had brought and played Moon. Oh, sorry, 3R4 Moon. So that's kind of all the information that Riddler Q's really posted about. I think he's replied to like other comments and stuff as well in this like Twitter thread. But the main thing to take away from this is that it is like an actual legitimate source. And he is here saying, you know, this is true. This is like leaks, this is real stuff, this is going to be happening. So, what is the Chinese uncle saying? So, this is the first batch that we're going to go over. This is posted on Game Rant. It's basically just a summarization of all of this information in English. And then we have a little bit more information about it here. So, we've got like Gen 5 remakes, Black and White 3, Legends UNOVA, all these different games like Faithful remakes, all of these are on the cards right now. So it starts off by saying every Pokemon UNOVA game leak explained. Pokemon leaks seem to stack up about new Gen 5 games with possibilities ranging from remakes to a Pokemon Legends UNOVA title. So this is just kind of the bullet points of it, like the highlights and stuff. The speculation about Gen 5 remakes and future UNOVA games in Gen 9 is fueled by hints and leaks, including the revelation of Arcaladon for the Indigo Disc. The possibility of 2 versions of the next Gen 5 games has sparked interest, with rumors suggesting taste-based themes and ties to the White Forest and the Black City. And the latest hints from Riddler suggest the inclusion of the original dragon from the Gen 5 lore as the mascot for a potential Pokemon Legends UNOVA remake, or UNOVA game, should I say. So, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's release and the accompanying Paldean Pokedex sparked discussions about what Gen 5 remakes would look like with new Volcarona forms in Slitherwing and Iron Moth, or if King Gambit would be included. There were multiple features, bits of dialogue, a new critters pointing towards more UNOVA games in Gen 9, and when Arcaladon was revealed for the Indigo Disc, a renowned leaker stated it was a hint towards Gen 5 Pokemon games of some sort, which is easy to believe considering it's shaped like Unovian bridges. More recently, the same leaker, known as Riddler shared some more hints for future Pokemon UNOVA games. So the Gen 5 was in the talks for remakes among the community already when Gen 9 came out, and that's because Gen 4 games were remade in the form of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, making Pokemon Black and White the next in line for a facelift. A popular option among fans will be a Pokemon Legends UNOVA game coming out alongside Gen 5 remakes, much like Pokemon Legends Arceus came out shortly after Generation 4 remakes. With these options in mind, Riddler Q's recent leaks paint a seemingly clear picture of what is in store for the UNOVA region. So, why Pokemon Gen 5 games could feature 2 versions and the original Dragon. So one of the most recent rumors is that the next set of Gen 5 games might come with 2 different versions, and the current theory this is not even tied to the remakes, but rather different games entirely. These versions for new Gen 5 Pokemon games will be apparently tied to taste in some way, which remains an unclear hint from the leakers, even though Gen 5 does feature some food-based critters. Having 2 different versions of non-remake games for UNOVA would be an interesting choice, especially seeing how they were the first set of games to get 2 versions for their sequels. So what they're saying here is that it could potentially be like Legends UNOVA and Black and White 3, which neither of them would be remakes, they would be their own kind of games. Another rumor is coming from Chinese social media through Riddler Q, so this is obviously talking about this bit here, saying it involves version differences for Gen 5 games, but this time they are themed around original and Paradox worlds, possibly tying into the same Paradox gimmick of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So in Gen 9, one version features past Paradox Pokemon and the other has future Paradox Pokemon, which corroborates another Q leak regarding Arcaladon. In that old leak, Q hinted that they were 2 new Gen 9 Pokemon being introduced, and they were seemingly tied to the White Forest and Black City from Gen 5, with Arcaladon having connections to the latter. Ku is currently sharing some riddles on social media, and the latest set of hints is all about Pokemon that either have 3 heads or evolve into 3-headed creatures, such as Dino, Doduo, Magnemite. The most logical assumption would be that, if literal, these rumors are saying that the next Pokemon UNOVA games will feature the infamous dragon from Gen 5 lore. In the lore, it seems that the original dragon was once the creature that eventually split into Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem. What follows is the original dragon could be the mascot for Pokemon Legends UNOVA game, and it could be a 3-headed creature that shares some of the characteristics unique to the 3 legendary dragons Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem. Seems the most plausible explanation for these leaks, and would make sense for Pokemon Legends Arceus sequel to explore UNOVA and the original dragon lore. Whether this is accurate remains to be seen, but it seems extremely likely that Pokemon players will eventually have new Gen 5 games that are not just remakes. And then there's some more information that's obviously come out about it, because, like I say, this has been posted like all weekend. It ranged from October the 4th, and I'm recording this on the 9th, and it's ranged from the 4th to the 8th, so this was going on for a few days. This is more information. Leaks are surfing about possible Black and White Game 3, and while odd, it would make more sense than Gen 5 remakes or a Legends sequel. So this is kind of going against Legends and remakes. This is more Black and White 3. So Pokemon Black and White 3 could be released as an alternative to Gen 5 remakes, allowing Game Freak to deliver a new Gen 5 title that's not an outsourced remake. So recent rumors suggest that Pokemon Black and White 3 will have a lot to do with past versus future themes, and may feature Paradox Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is likely as well, because you gotta think, like, we had Legends Arceus, which was past. We've had Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is like the present with past and future into it. So why wouldn't the next game be future? So it's literally going past, present, future. And there is speculation that a 3-headed version of the original dragon, yada yada yada. So after Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, featuring multiple references to Gen 5, hard to ignore, Bishop evolution, Paradox stuff, this is just like the intro, whatever. With us, logical progression, basically just what we've already said. Considering that one of the biggest issues with Gen 4 remakes was that they didn't include elements from Pokemon Platinum, and their art style didn't please fans, many were afraid something similar would happen with the remakes of Gen 5. This is because Game Freak's current development cycle makes it so the studio can focus on one Pokemon game, and not from the mainline series and whatever comes after Gen 9, which is likely going to be Gen 10. However, if the developer wanted to shake things up, cutting the need for Gen 5 remakes and a new Pokemon Legends game at the same time, it could release a sort of Pokemon Black and White 3. Black and White 3 makes sense and also doesn't. We've spoken about this in a previous video, but the thing with remakes is they've got Black and White and Black and White 2, so they'd have to remake all of them because they are literally different stories. Whereas if they came out with Black and White 3 and you hadn't played the originals, it's like watching the final of a trilogy without seeing the other two. So that's the kind of, I can see both sides for and against the Black and White 3. So Pokemon Black and White 3 would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Pokemon Black and White 3 were the first Pokemon games to get a sequel for each version, compared to the usual formula of a third game that worked well for Gen 1 through 4. A sequel to Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 wouldn't be the most logical step for the series after establishing its model in a slightly different way, but it would allow Game Freak to kill 2 birds with 1 stone by delivering a new Gen 5 title that's not an outsourced remake. As such, the recent rumors on Chinese social media that have seemingly been corroborated by renowned Pokemon leaker Riddler Ku about what would effectively be Pokemon Black and White 3 make sense. Even if fans are largely expecting a Pokemon Legends UNOVA game by now, what these alleged leaks state is that there will be new Gen 5 games that have a lot to do with the same past versus future themes, possibly even drawing from the same Paradox Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet. So this is basically going into detail about Paradox Pokemon, future and past themes in a new Generation 5 game, which would then be Black and White 3. Because originally we thought it was going to be like Faithful Remake, stuff like that, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Of course, we don't have to wait long for this to get announced. It's most likely going to get announced in February, and you know, that's what, 5 months to get away, whatever. So yeah, we don't have to wait. It's not like a massive leap of time until the next one. They then go on to say, based on the rough translations from the original posts, whose pictures were then tweeted by Riddler Ku as well, the leaks seem to suggest that there will be an original version as opposed to a Paradox version of these Gen 5 sequel games. This idea would tie into a different leak from Riddler Ku from a few weeks ago, suggesting that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's The Indigo Disc DLC would have 2 critters to represent the Black City and White Forest from UNOVA. If this were the case, then it's highly likely that creatures like Slitherwing and Iron Moth will make an appearance in these games. Not only that, but the recent Pokemon UNOVA game leaks point towards the story of the original dragon from the region's lore, which would be the creature that comprised Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem. Riddler Ku has been hinting at 3-headed Pokemon for a bit now, meaning there could be a version of the original dragon where the legendary dragons of UNOVA are indeed fused together. And I mean, the gimmick could literally be fusion as well. They've spoken about fusion quite a bit lately, obviously with Scarlet and Violet. In the Paradox books, like the Scarlet and Violet book, we had fusions of the Legendary Beast, we had fusions of the Swords of Justice. Obviously, Gen 5 had massive fusion themes with Zekrom and Kyurem and everything like that, which obviously would play in well with Generation 5 remakes. And there's been a few other kind of themes about fusion as well. Now, I'm not saying that every single Pokemon is going to fuse, because there's literally thousands and thousands of potential outcomes. It'd be like Mega Evolutions, where certain Pokemon can fuse, like maybe Blastoise and Charizard or something like that. And then Riddler Ku's been hinting at yada yada. These remain speculations for the time being, as Ku is also known to tease the community with misinformation, but the possibility of Pokemon Black and White 3-quel would be an interesting choice for Game Freak to make its next Pokemon game. So yeah, basically, this kind of sums it all up from Eclipse here, saying, update on recent rumors. This is what's been shared. We should be getting a Paradox UNOVA game, which is also set in the future if compared to the timeline of Black and White and Black and White 2. Problem is, the author is not legit, aka treat this as fake for now. All we need to know is if the info is real. And it's not going to be a Legends game as well. But obviously, Riddler Ku has since come out and said, you know, it is legitimate information. So, I mean, obviously, take it with a grain of salt, because they haven't outright told us what game it's going to be. It is just like likely this is going to be what it is, like in regards to what this person is saying. But yeah, it's definitely like all coming out of nowhere, man. Like, I mean, it's not long until we get the announcement of this anyway, but it's really exciting. Like, it's seemingly going to be Black and White 3, but it's going to be like a Paradox version of it as well. So this would make sense in the way that it wouldn't carry on from the story, because it's going to be a Paradox, so it's going to probably be in a different timeline and stuff. It wouldn't be like a follow-up from Black and White 2. It would probably have the same characters, but be in like a different world. Maybe where, I don't know, Ghetsis won or something like that, you know, and there's like different things that have happened and stuff, and maybe, I don't know, that there seem to be a lot of time elements in Pokemon at the moment, which I'm down for. I love it, man. I think this really, really cool way of bringing Pokemon back and forward from time. Hey, I'm down for it, man. I love it. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be Black and White 3, or maybe some sort of Paradox game of it. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be a Faithful remake, which is good, because Faithful remakes can be very hit and miss. Obviously, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Exhibit A, it wasn't received very well at all. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get multiple games. We'll have to wait and see. Like I say, they might surprise us. But either way, that's kind of all the UNOVA stuff that I wanted to go over. I'm sure there will be more information. I mean, we've still got the Indigo Disc coming out, which looks incredible. Like, I know it's exciting about the next Pokemon game, especially if we're going back to Gen 5, especially if you never played it and stuff. But like, Indigo Disc is going to be really good as well. Like, the storyline for that looks incredible. And then we don't even have to wait long till February. If Indigo Disc comes out, you know, like November or December, the next game is literally going to be announced a couple months later. So Either way, let me know your thoughts on all of the stuff that we covered today for all of these leaks and everything. Like I say, I'm sure they will post more stuff, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll try and keep you guys up to date as best I can. But because obviously it's like all in Chinese and stuff, it takes a little bit of time to get it translated properly and then just to see what they're actually saying. But yeah, like I say, if you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. It's everything from me. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, peace.